Huh. I feel like this might become more relevant in future. Hello everyone, this is the Iron Marshal speaking, and today I will be presenting you with my own analysis about the current situation in Kursk Oblast. Now, as I imagine many of you are aware, on August 6th, the Ukrainian armed forces launched their own invasion of Russia, so to speak. They sent several brigades over the border and have started taking Russian settlements in that region. Now, we need to analyze the situation as it currently stands, though these events are still in progress. The situation could change drastically over the coming days. But this is what I've managed to cobble together to build a small image of what is currently happening. Now, according to Forbes, the invasion started with the involvement of roughly 3 brigades, including the 22nd and 88th Mechanized Brigades and the 80th Air Assault Brigade. Now, later on, it's also believed that the 61st and 116th Mechanized Brigades also joined in on the invasion, and it's believed that reinforcements are continually being poured in. It's presently estimated that around 10,000 Ukrainian troops and around 600 armored vehicles are involved in this incursion. Now, this is a pretty substantial force, and I want you to keep those numbers in mind because I'm going to discuss them later. Now, according to Deutsche Welle, around 3,000 Kursk civilians have been evacuated and a state of emergency has been declared in the province. Now, these figures are a bit dodgy owing to the secrecy that has surrounded this operation, and one article that I read just a few days later said that that number had gone up to 76,000, which I could believe given what's currently going on. Now, we need to consider what the potential goals of this incursion are. There's been heavy fighting in the Russian village of Sudzha, I really hope I pronounced that correctly, close to a natural gas measuring station. This is important because natural gas has played its own little role in this war, allowing Russia to get the funding that it needs to continue funding its war effort. It's also a theory of mine, take it as you will, that Ukraine might seek to cut off the gas flow from this station as it runs through a pipeline that leads into countries like Hungary, which have famously been opposed to continuing aid to Ukraine. Again, just a theory, take it as you will. Now, we need to consider the impact that this incursion has had and is going to have in the future. Now, here are a few theories as to what may have prompted this invasion. It's believed that there is a PR factor to consider. Essentially, Ukraine is trying to demonstrate that it is still capable of going on the offensive and taking territory from the Russians. It's also believed that this might also have the ulterior motive of embarrassing the Russian high command, including President Vladimir Putin. If this is truly the intent, then they have succeeded. The fact that Ukrainian forces were able to penetrate as much as 35 kilometers into Russia is an embarrassment to the reputation of the Russian military and the Russian government. Now, we also need to consider the goals of this invasion. It's believed that outside of PR, it could be possible that Ukraine is aiming to take Russian territory to act as a bargaining chip. With peace negotiations increasingly seeming like a possibility, it is possible that Ukraine is aiming to secure Russian territory in a bid to exchange it for Ukrainian territory. This is a smart move, but I don't see how it could really work given the fact that both sides have been pretty stubborn when it comes to the fact that they have refused to engage in peace negotiations. Now, another thing that we should note is how this impacts Ukraine militarily. According to NBC News, this assault comes at a time when Ukrainian forces are increasingly overstretched and being pushed back in the Donbass. Now, the territorial gains that the Russian armed forces have made in the Donbass are nothing compared to what Ukraine has managed to achieve, and they have come at a substantially higher cost. That being said, Ukraine is more hard-pressed than Russia. Russia has greater reserves to call upon. And the dedication of so many brigades, including good ones like the 80th Air Assault Brigade, could seriously hamper Ukraine's war effort by removing manpower and weaponry from areas that desperately need it. So essentially, this operation has the potential to either make or break Ukraine's chances at victory. On the positive side, for Ukraine that is, they have succeeded in taking several Russian settlements and essentially creating panic in the Russian high command, though this is likely to change with the Russians rushing reinforcements into the area, no pun intended. However, it is also possible that this operation could serve as the final straw that breaks Ukraine's back. The country has been suffering from manpower problems for quite a long time now. This isn't even to mention all the various problems they've been having with equipment and weapons supply. The dedication of so many brigades into Kursk could serve not only to stretch the line further, but to thin out the forces that are defending them. Furthermore, as the Russians pour more and more troops into this area, the Ukrainians will, if their intention is to hold territory, be forced to pour more and more troops into Kursk. And Russia is far more able to handle such a situation than Ukraine is. At present, Russia has been putting troops from the Federal Security Service and the Russian National Guard, the Rosgvardia, I hope I pronounced that correctly, to combat the Ukrainians. The situation at present is still pretty foggy, and I imagine we'll hear further developments as things move forward. However, at this point, this is all that I can say. Ukraine's operation in Kursk has been an impressive tactical success. However, only time will tell if it proves to be a strategic success. That's all I have for today. Please remember to like, subscribe, click the little bell for notifications, and I will see you all very soon.